humanitarian crisis with more than 22 million people in need of food assistance. Three-year war, the UN says 2/3 of those are due to Saudi-led strikes.
Want to do something about it, can't, and hence it just goes on.
We heard the UNICEF regional director saying no excuses anymore. Does the world really need any more innocent children's lives to stop the cruel war on children in Yemen? It's because it's children in particular that are the worst, suffering the most there. What are the chances now of any kind of peace deal being brought about with that meeting?
Emphasizes the human rights record of Saudi Arabia gets punished. I mean, this is really the opposite as in Canada. Yeah. This is definitely the opposite we've seen before, when there is increasing pressure on certain dictatorships or certain authoritarian regimes, violators of human rights, to really step up and try to do better in their countries. But when you have the two richest countries in the region, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, launching this war in Yemen, continuing with it over 3 years, being able to afford it for the last years and perhaps another 3 years, and be able to strong-arm Western nations like Canada and others into some violence, as in Western Europe, as in the United States. Otherwise, what explains that the United States, France, and the UK do not now step up, go to the UN Security Council and say, look...
Because it is often described as a proxy war between Iran and Saudi Arabia and others. What influence does Iran, say, have on, for instance, stopping the Houthis from firing missiles as well?
Well, this is definitely a regional issue, and there's certainly a proxy aspect to it, Saudi Arabia and Iran. And Saudi Arabia and Iran have been physically the most destabilizing forces in the region for many decades now. So certainly Iran has to be brought into the picture. Now, unfortunately, because of the tragedies of the last 6 years, the Arab region has imploded, so even the likes of the Arab League is incapable of doing much in order to bring people together and to be able to put something out on the table. So every country is really busy with its own tragedies, and Egypt, which once upon a time was a power center, if you will, able to dictate certain things, is now complicit with Saudi Arabia and again busy with its own affairs. So really we don't have regional actors now capable of carrying the burden or guiding towards a solution, not stepping in. So once again, this really puts the burden back on the likes of Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. Those young leaders in Abu Dhabi and Riyadh and other places who want investments, who have ambition about 2030 and creating this new paradise on earth in the region, in the desert. Those who want to create a new NATO, Arab NATO in the region, are definitely not setting a good example in Yemen of what the future looks like for the region and for their countries and for their economies.